All right, guys, we're going to do kind of as promised. We're going to have a short lesson today, then we're going to have a review for the exam. May wind up getting out early, but depending on how much I blather, we may go the whole time. So why are we reviewing for the exam? Because you can come in and take the final on Wednesday rather than wait until the following week if you want. So we've been talking about lists again, because there's not that much more to say about files. But we're going to write a program that uses file opening. And what it's going to do is it's going to open a text file. It's going to read in all the data in the file, and then it's going to use Turtle Graphics to draw something. Not going to draw anything really sophisticated. It's just going to draw circles or maybe boxes or something. But the idea is we want to be able to do something like this. And you just put a U followed by a space followed by 50. And, well, not U. Forward, right? Forward 50. And then, and then turn right 90 degrees. And then go forward 50 again. That kind of thing. And we could add some commands like go up 50, in which case you just have to set the heading a certain way so that it go up, and then left and then right and down. That's possible, right? Wouldn't be too hard to do that, up and down and stuff like that. And then maybe a circle command. Draw a circle with a radius of 20. That kind of thing. That's what our file is going to look like. Not sure about doing the up and the down, because once we get the rest of this set up, up, down, left, right, once we get, these commands done, that's proven the point. So here's what we're going to do. Let's pop open idle. And what is our program going to do? It's going to open the file. Well, let's do a little bit of pseudocode. So, open file. We may ask for the file name, right? Input file name. This is not Python, this is pseudocode. Open the file, and then for every line in the file, then what we're going to do is we're going to get a command, and we're going to get a numeric value. And then based on the command, do turtle commands. Stuff like if command equals forward, turtle.forward, going to the value that was specified. That kind of thing. Else if, although in Python it's elif, so I'm not going to use the word else if. In a lot of other languages you see it'll be else if. We wouldn't, okay. And then, then we're done. We're ending our for, and we could print a done message if we wanted to. If this fails, if we try to open a file and it doesn't exist, we're going to get an error message of some kind. If we were really devoted to it, we would modify it so that, it'd print an error message. File not found, and then it asks them for a new file. But that's going to use something called exception handling. And we never really tried that. We never really did that. I think, we're just going to save that concept, the idea of handling a problem with exception handling. We'll save it for when you take scripting or Java or C++, something like that, which I strongly recommend you do. And you can earn bonus credit on your final if you, during the final, if you tell me, which quiz, or excuse me, which class you have enrolled in for summer or fall. That's a CIT course. All righty. So this is what we want to do. Let's go ahead and write a program that does that. How are we going to get the file name? We're just going to use an input statement, right? File name equals input. But we ought to tell the user what we want. So input File name to open, question mark, right? Just something like that. And then we get that. And now let's open the file. How do we open a file? Variable equals open, parentheses, file name, comma, R. R for reading, W for writing. So file equals open, parentheses, file name, comma, R. That opens the file for writing. And then for every line of data in the file. Now Python gives us a really easy syntax for doing this. We just treat it like it was an array. And so we've been doing for value in list or for value in array. Same kind of business, except I'm not going to call the variable v. It's an entire line of data, so instead I'm just going to call the variable line. So for line in the file, we want to be able to get out the first value and the second value, right? Don't type this yet. I want to be able to do something like this and then something like that and be able to get those pieces of data out, right? And the first piece of data is going to be the command, and the second one is going to be the value. We need to split that line up, and we're going to use the split command to do so. I think we've used split before. So what is split going to do? It's going to break the data up and return it as an array, as a list, right? So if this is our data, the first element in the array, element 0, is going to be an F. And then the second element in the array, element 1, in that case would be a 50. And notice it has quotes around it, so that means it's a string, and we'll have to convert it to a float or an int in order to do something useful with it. Okay, so that stuff's not going to work yet. We need to split the data. I'm just going to call it data. Data is equal to line.split. And let's just split based on spaces, right? We're not going to use comma delimiters. Oh, we could. We could put a comma there, but I think people like typing spaces just as much as they like typing commas, so we'll just leave that. Alrighty, data is equal to line.split. Now we can do it. We can get the first value out. Command is equal to data subscript 0, because it's the first element in the array that was returned by line.split. And then let's get the second one. Value is equal to data subscript 1. But it's a string, because everything we read from a file is a string. So we better convert it to a number. Value equals float. Value. All right, now we have some good stuff. We have a command, and we have a value. So let's do something. If command is equal to forward, you know what would be nice is if we made the command uppercase, right? Command is equal to command.upper. I think that'd do the trick. We'll find out soon. I may have to fix that line. So if command is equal to F, then we're good to go. We can do something with it. Let's go forward, except we never created a turtle. I'm actually going to create the turtle after we open the file. Why? Because I don't want the turtle window to pop up and then hide, the question about what to do next. So for up here, above our for line and file, we need to get our turtle going. So I'm just going to do import turtle. And to make things easy, I'm going to use a single letter variable name. Kind of lame. Nah, how about we call our turtle Leo? Leo is equal to lowercase turtle dot capital T turtle, and then don't forget your parentheses in parentheses. All right, now we're just about ready. We have a turtle, Leo. We can make him do something based on what the command is. If it's an F, we're going to go forward. If it's a right, we're going to turn, certain number of degrees right, and so on. So Leo.forward. Or if we feel like abbreviating it because it's easy to type and people leave off the R's and forward, we're going to do FD. Right. And we're going to go value, number of pixels. And then, for now, we're going to have an else statement that prints unrecognized command. We're going to add more commands, but start simple. We want to be able to open our file, read some stuff out of it, and if we find any F commands, we're going to go forward. Then we'll implement the left and the right in the circle. Okay, so if that's an error, not if it's an error. Yeah, if it's an error, meaning that if it wasn't an F, because that's our only command that's been implemented, print unrecognized or unknown command, end quote, comma, command. Like that, right? And I think we're good to go now. Let's do an end for, and let's print a done message. We should close the file. You should close the file every time you open it. So after our end for, before our done, we're going to do file.close. All right, possible this is going to work. I don't know if I made any syntax errors or not. We don't have a data file yet. We'll make one. So May 7th, turtle commands.py. Now we need to make that turtle command file, right? We have a program, but we don't have a turtle command file. So we're going to do a file new, and we're fill it full of commands like this. Or at least fill it full of F commands, huh? All right. So file, new file. And I want my program to go, well, I'm going to have a comment up here. Turtle commands. Please lock this computer, then unlock it using your most recent password. Really? Okay. Now we actually didn't make our program yet ignore comments, right? So it's going to tell us that that's an invalid command. But we can go back and fix that. Okay, I want it to go forward 100. I want it to turn right 90 degrees, and I want it to go forward 100 again. Is it going to do it? Well, the forwards have been implemented, right? Because we have that. We don't have support for a right. But that's enough to get us tested. So what am I going to call this? Well, for one thing, it better be a text file. So I'm going to change save as type to a txt file. And I'm going to save it in the same directory. I don't know. Just call it tcmd for turtle commands .txt. And then make sure you do save it. Well, I guess you did when you typed in the file name, right? But a common problem is you make changes to your text file and then you don't actually save it, right? So I've done it. All right, I want to run my program, see if it works. Who knows how many syntax errors I've got? File name to open. What did I call it? tcmd.txt. And here we go. It blew up. Why did it blow up? Because it's not ignoring that line that had the pound sign at the beginning of it. We better do that right away. Let's go ahead and do that. So as soon as we read the data in, if that line begins with a pound sign, we better skip it. So I'm going to add something right after the for statement. If, and I want to check the first character. So what's the index number going to be? 0. If line is equal to 0, if line subscript 0 equals a pound sign, colon, then it's something we just want to skip. So I'm just going to use a continue. I think we know what a break statement does. It would exit the for loop and just continue the program. But what does a continue do? It pops back up to the top of the for statement, ignoring all of this stuff. All right, give it a go. File named open, tcmd.txt. There's still an error. List index out of range. I'm kind of disappointed. Why would that be? It's probably reading a blank line. I don't remember having a blank line in my data. I'm going to go look. Yep, I have a blank line. Brilliant. Well, we need to handle that as well. I could just delete the blank line. But in the past, what we have shown is before we start processing the line, not only do we make it ignore comments, but we strip the data to remove any leading and trailing spaces. The trailing spaces can also include the /n, which is the inner key. And then we check to see if it's linked to 0. So let's do that above this if statement. We're going to strip the line of its leading and trailing white space. White space just meaning spaces and inner keys. So line equals line.strip, above and below that. And then if the line is empty, after that, if line equals, double quote. Or we could check to see if the line had a length of 0, which would look like this. If len parentheses line equals 0. Those do the same thing, right? They both check to see if it's an empty string. But if that's the case, then we want to continue. So yeah, if we modified our text file so that it didn't have any comments and it didn't have any blank lines, we wouldn't have needed to do this stuff. But I don't think it's a bad idea. I don't think that it's wrong of us to do what we've done here. I think it's a good idea. That way our data file can be, easier to read. I don't know why I keep popping this up. I'm getting tired of this one. I guess because it's a text file. And that's my real file. Alrighty. I'm going to run it. I'm hopefully going to get it to work, and then I'll walk about and give some help as needed. tcmd.txt, unknown command. All right, did it actually draw? Yeah, it did, but it's hidden behind the other window because it waited for us to input some text, I guess. But it looks like it did something. It looks like it drew something. All right, for those of y'all who have it working, what I want you to do while I'm walking about, then you'll get bored when I actually show everybody, is check to see if it's, if it's a right, then do a leo.right value. And I actually would make it else if. And if it's a left, do the same thing, right? If it's a L, then do leo.left. Just go ahead and implement that in code, not in comments. All right. All right, so this is the end of the programming file. If you haven't typed it all in, pause the recording. But here's the beginning of it. And so you're going to need those two statements. Anthony. So let's go ahead and implement the R and the L. We could do up and down if we wanted to. And a circle command. What would be awesome is if we put all of this stuff in a function, right? Because it's going to wind up being 10 or 20 lines of if, else ifs, which would kind of muddy up the logic of this. But time is of the essence. So, alrighty, I'm going to just delete those two comments, and I'm actually going to type some code above that else. So elif, else if, the command is equal, quote, R, caps, then Leo dot write that value. And then back tab and do the same thing for command is equal to left. Command equal left. elif command equal L colon Leo dot left value. Now to do up, here's what we would have to do. In our directional system, right, due north is 0 degrees, and then we go right 90, and then 180 and stuff like that. But in Turtle World, 0 is due that way, right, due to the right, and then 90 is straight up, and then left is 180, and down is 270. So let's tack on a couple of those. elif command is equal to up, U, capital U. Then we're going to turn to the degree of 90. I hope this is the correct command. Right, like that. And then go, well, yeah. Forget it. I don't want to do that one. Let's just do the circle. I'm going to delete all that. And the reason why is because we don't have a, yeah, we can do it. Sorry to be wishy-washy on this. Okay, so elif command is equal to, quote, U. And we could have used the entire words, right, in our text file, forward, left, stuff like that, but I would have taken more typing. Leo dot heading 90 degrees, and then Leo dot forward, Leo dot FD the value. elif command equals down, and let's just do left. Alrighty, see here we're hitting a. We should have made it north, south, east, and west. That would have worked better. Change that U to an N. And why do I say that? If we do up, down, left, right, then we have a problem about turning left and then going to the left. Okay, so north is going to be to the 90 degrees, and then west is going to be 180 degrees. So we made that if command equal N for north, go 90 and then go forward. But if it's west, we're going to go 180. Leo dot heading 180, and then Leo dot forward the value. And lastly, a circle. So that's going to be elif command equals C. Leo dot circle. So elif command equal quote C colon Leo dot circle. No, yeah, Leo dot circle that specified value. So here's the new ones we implement. And if you feel like doing south and east, south is 270. I'll just put these as little comments. South equals 270 and east equals 0, if you feel like it. So those are the three things we just added. But we need to modify our text file to support those things. If it doesn't have those commands, it's pretty boring. So let's draw a perfect square first, right? Forward 100, right 90, forward 100, right 90, right space 90, forward 100, right space 90, forward 100, and then right space 90. I've turned right 4 times. I've drawn 4 lines. I should be good to go. Now let's draw a little bit of a stair step. We're going to go north 10. We're going to go west 10. We're going to go north 10. We're going to go west 10. We're going to go north 10. And then let's draw a circle at the top of our stairs. Circle with a radius of 20. I think that'll appropriately exercise our stuff. Although we didn't ever do, you know, there's no left commands, but whatever. Make sure you save that file after you make the changes to the text file. I'm going to test it and then do some more walk around. I'll bring the text file back up in just a second as soon as I test it. cmd.txt. Oh, and it blew up. Heading takes 1 positional argument, but 2 are given. My mistake? What line number was that? That was line number 33. Okay, fine. Where's line number 33? I don't see 2 given. I'm going to have to Google this. I knew that north and west stuff was going to give me a problem. If I can't figure it out in like 20 seconds, we're going to skip it. Turtle, heading, Python. Set heading, excuse me. Alrighty. Okay, all of these heading commands need to be set heading. My apologies. Set there for north and for west. And if that doesn't work, I'm just going to delete that code. All right. tcmd.txt. And it actually finished. Thank goodness. Alrighty. It drew a square and it drew some stair steps and then it drew a circle. And we could keep going. We could make it all fancy, right? With a color command and, you know, all sorts of stuff. But I think we're good to go there. I like the idea of doing a color command, just because it's going to illustrate one more string function, which is to check to see if something is all letters or not. So our commands implemented so far. You know, we did U for up. We did, no we never did. We did north for going up. We did west for going, you know, north, west. We did left and right, left, right. We did F for forward. We did C for circle. It'd be really cool if we added some more commands like S for drawing a square or T for drawing a triangle. We could do that. And then H for set your heading, so you could set it yourself, right? You know, right in your data file. And I wanted to do a color, but I'm not seeing it. We've already used C for circle. I'm going to skip it. We're just going to add on a couple more things. I mean, not any more commands. But that's what we did. I'm just going to copy those and paste them up at the top of our program because we didn't add our name. We didn't add our date. Turtle command program. What does it do? Opens a file and reads each line, making the turtle follow the commands. And the commands are those things. I don't care if you type all that, but it's always good form to put something up at the top, right? Okay, we've got a little bit more to do. I need to check something. Okay, if we had wanted to support something like this, H for hue or S for set color or something like that, maybe we should have allowed ourselves 2-letter commands. Actually, we could, right? SC for set color. Maybe we will. But, right, it would have to be something like that. Set color red. We have a problem. The rest of our commands are numbers, right? So, and we have a line that looks like this. We had a line that said value is equal to float value. That line will crash if it's something like the word red. We should put an if statement here that checks to see if it's digits, right? Because there are some string commands, string functions, that check the contents of the string. There's isdigit. Is it all numbers? There's isAlnum, which stands for is it all numbers or letters? The short term for that is alphanumeric, all numbers or letters. Isalpha, is it all letters? And then there's isspace. I don't think I mentioned that last time. Who cares about isspace? But there we go. Isdigit, isAlnum, isalpha. So what I want to do is I want to modify my value is equal to float value command so that it makes sure that it is all numbers, right? Because otherwise that line's going to crash. So we're going to change it to look something like this. If value dot isdigit colon, then change it into a number. Value is equal to float value. Otherwise, we're going to leave it alone, right? Because it might be the word red or yellow or something like that. That's only one line of change. Let's do that. So, down here where we had value is equal to float value, we're going to check. Right there before it. If value.isdigit colon value is equal to float value. And now let's go ahead and add a color command, SC. They don't all have to be 1 letters. It could be the whole word color. So, you know what, I'm just going to tack it on after the F, even though it kind of doesn't look conceptual, just because it's in the same place. So this is the thing that I just added. That was new. And then after the F, elif command equals quote color, then leo.color parentheses value, right? It'll be a word like red or yellow or something like that. So these are the other 2 lines that I added. Then we need to go and modify our code so it has a color command or 2. Excuse me, modify our text file. So maybe after I draw my square, I'm going to change the color to red. And then maybe after I draw my stair step but before the circle, I'm going to make it color blue, purple, blue. Alrighty. So you see why we did that, right? This is actually a good thing to do, and I should have been doing it all along. All those times when we accidentally just hit enter on something, or we accidentally type in a word when it wanted a number, we could have we could have been catching those errors like that. All right, file name to open, tcmd.txt. And there we go, it changed colors. So I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty happy with what we did. Okay, so I'm actually going to put a little bit of notes right in the content, in the notices, so that when you take the exam, you don't even have to open a notes file to see how to do the isdigit, is color kind of business. What? Isdigit, is alpha, is alnum. Okay. So I'm going to modify my notes a little bit. I really would like it to be s.isdigit for string, s.isalnum, and s.isalpha. But why did we use if value dot rather than if s dot? Who can tell me? I got a review from the dean, and he was giving me suggestions for my teaching style, and he said I had to wander around and pick out people's names. All right. Anyway, somebody tell me why, if I'm putting s.isdigit in the notes, and also it should have parentheses after it, I did if value.isdigit down here. Why? What is s and what is value? They are something that has a name and something that has a value and something that can change. There's a word that I'm looking for. Starts with a V. Yeah, these are variables. In our code, the variable was called value. In my example here, just to make it supremely generic, I'm using the variable name s. Okay, so there we go. Those are the commands that are going to go in the notice, but then we're going to do a few more. I want to hit the topic of splitting again. What is splitting? Splitting is when you have something like this as your subscript, right? You specify a starting place and then one less than the stopping place, just like the range statement. Range, if you wanted to go up to 20, you'd have to make a range, comma 21. Same thing with splitting. So splitting works with both strings and with lists. I'm just going to do strings for now. String subscript 10 comma 10:21 would extract, would split. Can I spell? Characters 10 through 20. What if you wanted to just start at the beginning? String 0:5 would get 0 to 4, which is 5 characters long. There's a shortcut for that. Leave off the number before the colon. Same thing. And what if you leave off the number after the colon? String 5:nothing would get chars 5 to the end. All right. So even though I introduced this material towards the end of the semester, it will be on the exam, but if you get confused, just raise your hand. Before you raise your hand, just go and look on the notices page. It'll be right there. So let's play with that in our code, and then we'll stop and start our review. So up in our code, way up here at the top, even above our file name. Let's make a string, s equals, quote, Tony Stark. Now let's print out just the word Tony. What's the starting position? That's character 0. What is the ending position going to be? The end of our slice. Not going to be 4. 0, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it will be 4, actually. I lied. What's a good way of figuring that? You start at 0, and how many long is this? It's 4 long. So 0 plus 4 is 4. So let's just print out string starting at position 0 and going out to 4. That'll print out Tony. Now I want to print out Stark. If we could count, what's our starting position here? That's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're just going to go to the end of the string. Yeah, I could count it out. I could add 5 to 5, or I could just do the colon without any value trick. So we're going to start at 5, and it's 5 long. So 5 plus 5 is 10. Or print S 5 colon. That'll print out Stark as well, because it'll go out to the end of the string. And we have the alternate syntax for printing the first if we leave off that colon. I'm going to put some spaces, make this easier to read. Right? I think that looks okay. And then lastly, print S subscript colon out to position 4, up to but not including index value 4. All right, now how to print Tony, Stark, Stark, Tony. I'm going to put some comments out here. Tony, Stark, Stark, Tony. And lastly, just as a thought problem, if we print out string slice starting with position 1 and going out to position 3, what is it going to print? Just as a prediction, without running it to find out. So what is position 1? What letter is that?
O.
It's an O. And how long is it going to be? What's the difference between 1 and 3? 2. So it's going to print out on. All right, file named open. Okay, so it printed out Tony, Stark, Stark, Tony on as predicted. So that's slicing. All right. Let's check what's going to be on the exam. And as before, any material that's on the tests in MindTap is fair game. I'm not going to even review that stuff because I trust that you can review your exams. Come on. Not going to get out as early as I thought. That's okay, I guess. Y'all didn't expect to get out early. Alrighty. Review. If you have a list or array, understand subscripts. What do I mean by that? If your list is this, 9, 8, 3, 342, what is the index value of 6? Don't say 3. What's the subscript value of the 6? It's 2.
It's 2.
Yep. If you want to replace 342 with 1000, what command would you use? Well, firstly, what is the index value of 342? Come on, guys, we can get more reviewing done if you participate.
3.
Yeah, it's 3. So L subscript 3 is equal to our new value, 100. I think I said 1000, who cares? L.count will return the number of times the value is in the array. So L.count subscript 20, or just I'm going to genericize it, value, is count the number of times the value is in the array. So if we did L.count and we asked if how many 6s there were, it would return 1. Now I didn't put any duplicate numbers in there, so, you know. Okay, if you had this string, S is equal to, 12 comma 34, whatever, and we want to put it into an array, a list. We'd use what kind of command? Same one that we turned our line of text into our data array. Yep, split, exactly. We'd use split. So, L is equal to S dot split. I'm using L, capital L, because if I do lowercase l, it looks like a 1. And what is the delimiter? Commas, right. Comma is the delimiter. How do you remove leading and trailing spaces and new lines from a string? We've done this a couple times. Every time we opened a file and we printed it out, we did it in the last one too, before we checked to see if it was empty. Strip, exactly. S is equal to S dot strip, like that. How do you check to see if F is made of digits? If I called it numbers, same answer. Just like our notes up here, is digit, right. If S dot is digit. Write a for loop that would print out the list. Or, yeah. or write a while loop, if that's your thing. For loops are a little bit easier. And then write a for loop that will count from 100 to 200. For x in range, what's our starting point? Why did I say 100 to 100? 100 to 200. What's our starting point of our range? 100. And what's our ending point? Don't say 200.
199, 201.
Close. 190. It's 201. You got to go one past. Somebody always does that too. Don't feel bad about that. All right, guys. Not that you can see it, but I'll post the flowchart cheat sheet if it hasn't already been done. It's going to say something like that. Is this a while loop or an if loop? Right? You know it's a while because it goes back to the diamond. Yeah. Is this an if or an if else? That kind of thing. Right? Just those shapes. If those are not in the notes section, there'll be a flowchart cheat sheet PowerPoint there by Wednesday. Same pictures, and they already give you the commands. Excuse me, they already give you the answers. Alrighty, if you have something like this, define AA, and what does AA do? It prints AA. And then you have define BB, which calls AA, then prints BB, and then calls AA again. And then down here you do BB. What is that going to print? Well, BB causes it to jump up this function call, invoking the function, calls it to run up here, and then what does it do? What does that do? Causes it to run up here, so it's going to print AA. Then what's the next thing it prints? BB, and then what's the next thing it prints? Exactly. Write a function named zap that has two parameters, x and y, and prints them. Stupid, huh? But what's it going to be? What's the key word for starting a function? df, and then it's going to be called zap. And is that good enough? Nope. We have to have our parameters, x comma y, and then it's pretty easy. Print x comma y. So, declaring lists and arrays. Declare an array called nums that is 100 numbers long. Okay. Nums equals 100 times. That's not going to work. It's supposed to be filled with zeros, and you want 100 of them. All right, and then secondly, how do you declare an empty list? Named L. L is equal to, what's an empty list look like? Yep, just the square braces. Okay. Declare a list named L that has the odd numbers from 1 to 5. 7. L is equal to, well, it's a list, also an array. 1, 3, 5, 7. All right. Write a line of code that will open a file named t.txt for reading. File equals what? Yep, open. Let's open the file name. You know, I'd give you half credit if you did that, because that's what we've been doing in class. But what is our file name? Yeah, t.txt. And for reading, I wouldn't count off if you left off this second part, right? Because that means reading if you leave off that second part. Write a line of code that will open file name for writing. Same business, right? File is equal to, except now we do have a variable. Open file name, comma, quote, W. And by the way, from here down, what does this print? All the way from here down. I will post this as notes. I was about to say I'm not going to post it as notes, and then you have to watch the video and type it. I'll post it as notes. You're going to ace the exam if these are notes. Alrighty. How do you get the length of an array? Print out the length of array L. So print, obviously. And then how do we get the length of it? LEN, yep. Is digit, is alnum, is alpha. Have we done L.max and L.min? I'm not really remembering it. I'm going to remove those questions. Alrighty. How do you add, I'm going to give you a word, hint, append the number 100 to our L list? Well, I said I gave it away. What's the keyword? L.append 100. How do you insert the number 200 into the beginning of the L list? L dot, again, I gave it away with the keyword, insert. What is the position of the beginning of the index? 0, yep, 200. Slicing. I've already given you examples of slicing. Alrighty, that's pretty much it. I think that'll do it. Then review your exams, because you know, at least some of the questions are going to be drawn from the tests. It's not designed to be comprehensive, but you know, programming builds on stuff in the beginning, and that's why you know you get some questions about flowcharts again, because we've talked about flowcharts again since the last exam. Alrighty, let's make a Dropbox. There's our Dropbox. Go ahead and give me the PY file, and you may as well give me the text file as well, just in case you ever wanted to see it again. You'd have it there. Alrighty. Just a sec. Or, yes?
Can you go ahead to the PY file?
Yeah, sure. I'll bring that up in a minute.
One part and that'd be it.
Yeah. Any questions? Will I see any of y'all on Wednesday? Anybody planning on taking the exam Wednesday? Cool. Awesome. Alrighty.